All right. I hope you guys can hear me. So I'm just gonna double check. Yes, if you can hear me, can you just go like thumbs up? Okay, so we are live. So I just wanted to welcome everybody to another Vue.js meetup. Today we have a very cool guest. His name is Sybren. But before I jump into that, I do have some announcements. So you guys bear with me. Tomorrow, the official sales for the Vue.js Global is going to take place. So yeah, don't miss your spot. I know that this is online. It's not the same thing as coming here in person, but we have awesome speakers. And tomorrow you're going to be able to buy tickets and reserve your spot for this awesome conference that we have been organizing and spending so much time and effort to make happen. So if you want to buy some tickets, you can go to Vuejs.Amsterdam or www.vuejs.amsterdam, and you can make your purchase there. So now that you guys have enjoyed my announcements, let's go on to our speaker. I'm actually going to bring him up so we can talk. Welcome, Sybren.
Hi. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah. So it's the pleasure is ours. So if I understand it correctly, you are a front-end developer at To The Point.
Yeah, I am front-end developer there. Yeah.
Cool. And maybe you can tell us a little bit more about what you've been up to and what you have been working with, just so our attendees can have some context on about yourself, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, I've been working for To The Point for almost 3 years now. So mainly on front-end stuff, coming from Angular to Vue.js, also some Ruby projects there. So really cool path so far. Also
That's
have
awesome.
had the opportunity.
Did you just mention that you actually switched from Angular to Vue over there? That's awesome.
Yeah. I started in the beginning, like my first year in Angular. Started Angular.js and then Angular 2 when it just came out. And then we switched over to Vue.js because some people said we have to look
because
into
Vue
this.
rocks, right?
Yeah. Well, it was really awesome to make the change from Angular to Vue. There was, I think for me as not that experienced developer, it was really easy to make the switch. So yeah,
that's great. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have a discussion on that as well. But yeah, I don't want to take too much of your time. But we are definitely gonna be hearing about Vue as well, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
And what is the title of your talk again? I know it has something to do with GIFs, right?
Yeah. So it's about image classification to GIF with ML5.js.
Awesome. So, well, the stage is yours. I'm going to bring up your screen right now. And yes, please enlighten us.
All right, thanks. So I will be giving my talk about my own try with machine learning in a Vue.js project. I've taken a look on how to get a matching GIF of an image using the image classification. So yeah, first off, I will introduce myself a little bit more. So like I was introduced, I'm Sybren and I'm a front-end developer at To The Point. And I'm one of the organizers of the Vue.js Antwerp meetup group in Belgium. After the last edition of Vue Amsterdam, World Vue was created, and here I'm trying to do as much as I can to help. World Vue is an initiative for the Vue community focused on community building, like hosting global events with local Vue communities. So it's really cool to do. And on Twitter, GitHub, and the Vueland Discord, I can be found as Scarwick if you have any questions afterwards or something. So, like I've said, I was trying to get a dive into machine learning. So what's machine learning? Under my understanding, it's simply a computer that performs a specific task without really being programmed for it, but relying on certain algorithms and models. In this talk, I will not go really deep into machine learning, and I will only use like one part of it where I use a pre-trained model. There's also the option to use a model that you train yourself with, for example, Google Teachable Machine, or use a pre-trained model and train on top of it. So, but so far I just took a look into how to use a pre-trained model. Next slides will be some fun examples that got me into this, and got me hooked on trying out machine learning in JavaScript in the browser. So the first example is from Je suis un dev, and he uses machine learning to predict this face expression and gets a matching GIF. So when he smiles, he gets laughing GIFs. When he's surprised, he gets surprise GIFs. So it's really funny to see. He uses TensorFlow.js for it and the Face API. It's more on his blog about it. The next up is one from Charlie, dev Charlie. She used an Arduino to get her body movements as an input, and then she trained her own model for the predictions. And so she was able to play Street Fighter with her body movements, as you can see in the little GIF. So it's really cool to see. And another one is also from dev Charlie. This is her try on cloning the Beat Saber game, which she called Beat Pose. She uses PoseNet to predict the positions of her hands to port it into the game. So it's really nice. And so she could play it in her browser. So after seeing stuff like this, I was like, okay, I have to try it out. And so I went on and searched a little bit about it. And to get started machine learning in the browser, we do need a JavaScript library. Most will know TensorFlow.js from the Python library. But after some small research, I looked into ML5. Why? Because it's also a JavaScript library. And so I'm able to use it in the browser and in my Vue.js project. But the creators of this library aimed to make this more noob-friendly, more understandable, and you just need like a few lines of codes to use some of the algorithms and the models, like the image classifier I will show later. ML5 is built on top of TensorFlow.js, so a lot of the features from TensorFlow are already in there, but ML5 is still like adding new features, updating their documentation and examples. So that's really cool to see. So we're already at the project itself. It's just a fun project to get me started with machine learning. And what I did was on the left part, I made a screen to upload an image and display the prediction of it. And on the right side, I got the Giphy, the matching GIF from the Giphy API. So what did I use? Like I said before, I'm using the image classifier from the ML5 library. As a model, I use the MobileNet. It's also, this is like a pre-trained model, like I said before. It's trained on about 50 million images. And this may seem a lot, which 50 million is, but it still doesn't know everything and will give us strange predictions. Sometimes it's really funny to see. And for the GIF part, so this is the second part of the project, I will be using the Giphy API, so the fetch endpoint, which was free and easy to use. Just needed to create my API key on the website. And to fetch the data, I use Axios to this. It's also possible, I saw later on, to use the Giphy SDK. They also developed a web SDK for it, which eliminates the use of Axios and adds some features like fetching stickers, etc. So, all right, let's do it. Let's dive into the code a little bit itself. So first of all, I wanted to do this already inside a Vue.js project. So I had to create one, and I used the Vue CLI for this. After that, I had to add the ML5 library, to my project, and this can be done with yarn add or npm install or using the cdn for this. So I hope this is all clear and easy to read because it's some code. Besides adding some basic layout in my project, I added the ML5 library, and in the mounted method, I initialized the image classifier. Here I needed to give some params. The first one is required, and it's the model that I want to use. So I'm using the MobileNet in my example here. It's also possible to use darknet or doodlenet, or even use your own model here that you've trained, for example, with Google Teachable Machine. And then I also added the callback function there. So I know when the model is loaded, and I can start with doing the predictions. So one thing that I noticed was that it took a while to load the model because I read that ML5 loads the model from the cloud, but after it's loaded, it's really fast to do predictions. So I added a loading screen, for better user experience. So let me have the example open. So I will refresh this page. So in my console on the right side, I first get like a message from ML5 itself saying, yeah, I'm using ML5, so it's pretty cool. So I know it's there. And then after a while, the model is loaded and the console log is shown. And from now on, I can start with the predictions. So let's do that. We start with the classifier on one image. To do this, I added a image tag in my template, and I'm using the Vue.js logo for an example here. And the classifier itself will return me some results, and those results I will display under the image. So for the classifier, for the classifying itself, for the prediction, it's really easy. After the model is loaded, we can call the classify function of the classifier. And in this function here, like I need to also give some params. First, I need to give my input, which here is my image, but it can be like an HTML element, image data, HTML canvas element for the doodlenet, for example. So if you want to draw stuff and then predict what the user has drawn, or it can also be an HTML VO element. Then the predict, if everything goes right, the classifier will return me the results. This will be an array of objects. So these predictions will have a label and also confidence rates. So how sure it is how sure it is on these predictions. So I will need the first one, which is the most certain of. So it will be the most matching. Let's hope so. Okay, so how will it look like? So this is how it looks. So the model is loaded and it gives me the prediction. Here it thinks that the Vue.js logo is an umbrella. He's 39% sure it's an umbrella. I can see why, but it's not really accurate. This is because it never saw the Vue.js logo when it was trained, so it doesn't know it, and it just gives his best shot. So as you can see, there is some small stuff in the console log that this array is my array of predictions I got back, and I needed the first one, which is umbrella. It also thinks it's an envelope or a balloon. I don't know sure about the balloon though. All right, so only one picture is a little bit boring, so I added the option to upload my images. How I've done this is just in a template. I added a file input, HTML file input, where on the change, I call a method I called upload image. And in this method, I will read the image data from the file with the file reader. And once I got all the data I needed, I call the classify function again on this image data I have. So this really already is everything that needed to be done for the image classifier part. So I can upload images and get a prediction for like in less than a second after it. So it's really cool. So how this will look, is like here. So I will choose a file, for example, the basketball, because I know the basketball is in the mobile net. So it knows it's what a basketball looks like. So it's really sure it's a basketball. As you can see, it's almost 82% sure it's a basketball. So that's nice. There's, for another example, I can take this one. This is a funny one. You say it's a microphone or an oxygen mask. So as you can see, not always that accurate, because when I take another picture of a slot, it knows it's a slot. Maybe because when it was trained, it saw more pictures of this and was told that this is a slot than my previous picture. But as you can see, the predictions are really fast too. Which is really nice. For example, if I take a cat. All right. So for the last part and the second part of my project, I wanted to get a GIF, a matching GIF from Giphy. So, for example, if I had a cat, I want a GIF of a cat. So, how I've done this is, first of all, I started with adding a image tag for the GIF itself in my template. In the source, I add the URL I get from the Giphy API to display it. And then this block of code is how I got the GIF from the Giphy API. First is the URL itself, just the endpoint where I added my API key. After that, I used Axios to get the data I need. So I start with the URL, and then I have to add a search term. So this will be the results I got from my image classifier, so the prediction. And then I also added limit 1, so I only get one GIF because I don't need any more. And I also added an offset, so I get a random GIF each time, so a random matching GIF. Because otherwise I always get, like, for example, if I do the basketball, I will get back the same GIF of a basketball themed thing. So would be also a little bit boring. So and once I got all the data, I can just take the source out of it and put it in my image image tag. So that's how it's done. So how will it look like? It will be, I don't know. I mean, I forgot to change the code. Let's see. So the models will load. Then I can upload the file. Let's try the basketball again. Let's close this. As you can see, I got a matching GIF of basketball themed. It's cool. If I try cars, for example, see what I get. Okay, well, it's somehow related to a sport car for sure. And then if I try basketball again, because of the randomizer, I get another GIF, so that's cool. I also can try with the cat, for example, or this cat. I tried this cat, yeah. Okay, yeah. What a cute GIF. So that's really cool and fun to play around with. It's also nice to see what the image classifier gives me as a prediction. So this is starfish, so for example, but it's really a tarantula. All right. So this kind of already brings us to the end of my talk. But I also checked out how to use the SDK. It's just in code. Let me zoom in a little bit. Hope it's here like this. So for the SDK, I just took the JS fetch part of it. There's also a part where you get like React components for the Vue, etc. So I didn't need that one. So in my Vue.js app, I import it. In the mounted function, I will initialize it with my API key, which you can get for free on the GIF docs, the Giphy docs, sorry. And when I got the prediction, I call the method to get the GIF. And in that method, I replaced all the Axios stuff with just the following line, this line. So I call on the Giphy fetcher that I want a random one with this tag, which is the search term. And then I got the response. I just put it back into my data in my template. So it's really just the same for that part. All right, see, it's really cool. Just a few lines less. And then just the last thing I have to do is already thank you for your time. I hope it wasn't too hard to follow. And I also hope that I give you inspiration to try out machine learning yourself. So play around with the ML5 library, for example, in the Vue.js project. The next few slides are just 2 slides of useful links. So first one is the Vueland Discord. Link to the Vueland Discord is the official Discord of Vue.js. So if you have questions or just want to talk about Vue.js, go there. And also the link to the Vue Antwerp meetup page. So if you're from Belgium or close and want to catch some meetups we're doing, make sure to follow there. And also a link to the page of Worldview for more information on that. And the last slide is just the links to the project itself. So first the slides. I will also post those on Twitter after my talk. Then I got the GitHub where I uploaded this code. The next one is a link towards the ML5.js page, the website for documentation. Then I also added the Giphy API docs and Google Teachable Machine if you want to try and teach your own model. So yeah, that was it. Thanks, and hope it was a cool talk.
Well, I for sure enjoyed your talk, man. Thank you so much.
All right, cool.
Yeah, nice. that was very good. Let me see how we can put both. Let me see the two of us here. There you go. So I was just trying to see if we're gonna have some questions. I have some questions on myself. So one thing that I was thinking is, have you tested this on mobile? Like, are there any limitations to using machine learning when you're using a browser on a mobile? Because I know we have a lot of PWAs these days, right?
Yeah. Well, on a PWA, I didn't test it already, but it works in a mobile browser. But it will take some more time for sure sometimes to get to, like example, calculate predictions because, processing speed of a mobile device is the same as a laptop. And like fetching the model itself from the cloud maybe a little bit slower, but it should be no problem so far.
So if I understood it correctly, I mean, because a lot of the times when we're using machine learning in the browser, it tends to be just like an API call that you make to an external service. But in this case, you actually used a model, a machine learning model locally, right?
Yeah. You fetch it in on your local device, so it's faster than always doing the callback for the prediction.
Right. Yeah, might as well use your device, right?
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah. So and it's interesting though because it doesn't seem like this approach is specific to Vue, right?
No, it's just JavaScript based. In any you can do it in vanilla JavaScript. Like most of the examples on ML5 are like in vanilla JavaScript and in P5. But you can port it in React, in Svelte, in everything. I mean, in every JavaScript framework.
Yeah,
That's
which
the
is
beauty
really
of it.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, very
yeah.
nice. This is cool. I mean, I'm just trying to see, but we already have some reactions for your about your presentation. It seems like a lot of people really liked it. Check this
All
out.
right, thanks. That's
Go
awesome.
Sybren. Nice talk. I think everybody was very interested in your talk because it's not very often that we have machine learning in the browser, especially in the front end, right? It seems like it's
Mhm.
such a seven-headed beast that nobody wants to touch.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it seems like it's getting more accessible. In yeah, to you do with those libraries like TensorFlow.js and ML5.js. So that's cool.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with services such as Azure and AWS and Google Cloud, I know that they all have their own versions of
Mhm.
some kind of machine learning. Then you don't really have to rely on your device either. Um,
Yeah, indeed.
but how did you come up with this idea? I mean, what was the curiosity that you had? You're like, man, I want to learn this.
Yeah, well, after seeing some of like the examples I showed, like from Dev Charlie and stuff, I think I was just going around on Twitter and I saw like someone. I tried to find it again. It was a really cool project. He really got the inspiration for this one, and he got like an image and then get an emoji of it. So that was cool. And I thought, yeah, okay, an emoji, it's cool, but GIFs are always better than emojis. So I looked around how to do it, and that's how I came up with this. Um, yeah.
This is great, man. Yeah, and it's actually very scary. Okay, I know this is I'm not gonna be the guy who's gonna say, "Hey, machines are gonna take over the world," because we all know it's inevitable. So, but I was just looking at something the other day where they basically trained a model to identify people's position and also to see them walking through walls using the Wi-Fi signal. So, I mean, it kind of got me excited to go and test something related to
Yeah,
machine
that's like
learning, right?
sounds like a real life wall hack.
Right.
That's cool.
For the people who are not familiar with that, if you play first person shooters, a wall hack is something that will make you see through walls. So,
Yeah.
which is nice. But I mean, just with the front end, from a front end perspective, I mean, can you think of some use cases where machine learning might be useful for the user?
Well, for example, if you like take the if you're only talking about the image classification, for example, really with mobile browsers, you can use your phone camera to point at objects and say and let the device say what you're pointing at or something like that. So maybe for if you got better trained model than this one, it's useful for blind people, I think.
Right? Yeah, to
So that's
identify
cool.
things. I think I saw something like that the other day where they would point their phones to something and it would actually tell
Mhm.
them what it is that they're pointing to. So
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, indeed. Yeah, there's a few examples I saw also being built. There was one person. I have to find it again on Twitter, and the project was like identifying if the person that came in the store with the webcam is wearing a mouth mask or not. So that's
Oh,
cool.
yeah. Or even the
Uh,
proximity, right? If they're actually
mhm.
keeping the
Yeah,
1.5 meters.
yeah, those things are already like in development, so it's cool to see that.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean this is not so much in the front end, but when I was working for Zuver, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's a reviews website, right? That does review
mhm.
uh, for vacations and destinations, right? We did think about creating some kind of system that would classify images because people can upload images, right,
Mhm.
about their trips and stuff. And obviously, we have to be careful about profanity.
Oh
And
yeah,
there's some people who are really mean out there. So yeah,
yeah.
but Sybren, anyways, I just wanted to thank you for spending the time to prepare this presentation and for sharing your knowledge with us. It was very nice to have you here, and I don't know if maybe you can give some advice to the people who want to be a front end developer or want to learn the things that you shared with us today. I mean, what makes you you?
Well, it's a thing that I learned from other people, other developers, and just it doesn't matter what you build, just build something that's fun. So stupid things are really good thing to build, because you learn a lot from it. I mean, this example I would never use in real life things, but now I know how to import ML5, for example. I use image classification on itself. So if like in a week or something, and someone comes to me and says, yeah, I want to do something this with image classification, well, I made this stupid project and I know how it works. So that's like what I like to do, and it's my advice. Just if you want to learn, don't always go for the the things that can make money or something. Just build stupid stuff. I think that's like a very good talk also from about this from Sarah. I lost her last name. Sorry for that.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. It's Sarah.
Yeah.
She was in the Vue.js, right?
Yeah, and
Sarah
I saw
Dressner.
her. No,
Sarah
not
Dressner, right?
Sarah Dressner. I saw her on Vue Amsterdam. I think, or she gave the talk also on Vue Amsterdam.
Yeah,
like
I would
2 years
imagine
ago.
it's Sarah Dressner, but maybe I'm wrong.
Nah.
So
Yeah, I can
hopefully
Google
I'm
it.
not getting anybody mad at us, right?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, I think the secret is to have fun. I guess
yeah.
if you're having fun with what you're doing, for sure you're gonna be successful at it. So, but
Yeah.
but Sybren, thank you so much, man, and I really hope to have you over again. If not at a meetup, maybe at a conference. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
So
for sure.
yeah,
That would be cool.
yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Also, thanks for giving me this opportunity. Really, it's awesome. All right. So, if there are any talks